Hello, Oilers fans. Austin here with the pregame report between the Edmonton Oilers and the big bad Boston Bruins. Although in recent years, the Boston Bruins are not nearly as big or as bad. However, you could make an argument that they are actually just bad at hockey. Just kidding. Listen, I am also a Bruins fan. If you've been watching this channel for a long time, even recently, I've mentioned that I am also a Bruins fan. I grew up an Oilers and Bruins fan pretty much from the time I was a kid all the way into adulthood. I do really like the Boston Bruins, but in this specific matchup, I really like the Edmonton Oilers. Of course, the Oilers are my team that I wear on my sleeve. They are in my heart. I bleed copper and blue. The Boston Bruins, of course, are a team that I've loved for a long time. So these matchups, I get very excited for. I love when these two teams play each other because they are always highly entertaining games. Sometimes you have those crazy 6-5 overtime games like you had in Edmonton last year. And then you have those 2-1 goalie defensive duels in Boston in last year's game where the Oilers tied the game with the net empty to tie the game at 1, and then they won it in overtime. I believe Leon Draisaitl scored the game winner in that one. So we'll see what happens tonight. The Boston Bruins, they fired Jim Montgomery earlier this season. Joe Sacco has taken over. The team has kind of been up and down, but it's mostly been trending back up. The Bruins are 7-3 in their last 10. And for the Edmonton Oilers, yes, they're coming off of a pretty chaotic, wacky 6-5 loss to the Florida Panthers. So look for them to play a lot more structural and disciplined tonight. The Edmonton Oilers, for the most part this season, have been very defensively sound, especially in the neutral zone and the defensive zone. They've gotten out of that a little bit. That Vegas game after they went up 5-0, their system, they looked like they were starting to collapse a little bit. And then against the Florida Panthers, of course, we saw how that game ended up turning out. So for the Edmonton Oilers, if they're going to have success, they have to remain disciplined in their structure. They're going to have to keep things to the outside and try and lull the Boston Bruins into mistakes. For the Boston Bruins, though, if they're going to win this hockey game, they're going to have to get in on the forecheck. They're going to have to cycle. The Bruins are a good cycling team. They are not a good attack off the rush team. They do try and fire shots from the point and then go for rebounds. So if you're the Oilers defenseman, you have to be able to clear that crease. Otherwise, players are going to get in tight, in close on Skinner tonight and make his life miserable in the blue paint. If you end up enjoying this pregame report, make sure to smash the like button. And if you end up really enjoying it, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Even though I'm a huge Oilers fan, I do talk other hockey on here. So if you're just a hockey fan in general, if you like the chaos of the Edmonton Oilers, if you like seeing me get really mad when the team loses or go nuts when the team wins, of course, this is always a good place to be. We have lots of fun. And speaking of fun, I will be doing a live stream commentary tonight. However, because of my work schedule, I won't get home until probably halfway through the first period. So look for my live stream to go up at about 7:20 or even 7:30 p.m. Mountain tonight. It will be here on YouTube, so if you're looking forward to the live stream, of course, make sure to check it out. We have a lot of fun on the live streams, and let's get things going here. We're going to get into the lineups, projected lineups, because it's not official yet, and the game day predictions. Projected lineup tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. I do believe Zach Hyman is A-OK. He did suffer a broken nose. He was not at practice the other day, just getting that probably patched up, fixed up. He's going to be wearing the big bowl on his face. So Nugent Hopkins with McDavid and Zach Hyman. Of course, Zach Hyman has been red hot as of late. He just cannot stop scoring goals. On the second line, you're going to have Vasily Podkolzin, likely with Draisaitl and Kasperi Kapanen, although Victor Arvidsson is also very close to returning from injury, and when he does return from injury, who the heck are you taking out of this lineup? We'll discuss that in a minute. Podkolzin continues to do a really good job at helping drive play for the Edmonton Oilers. Every time he's on the ice, the Oilers are in the offensive zone. They very rarely are ever stuck in the defensive zone when he's out there, especially with Draisaitl. Those two work really well together. Kasperi Kapanen, he scored the other night against the Florida Panthers. It looks like his offensive game is starting to come around. He does play a little bit on the perimeter. I have noticed that he's not always as keen to go into the corner for a puck when it's dumped in, like Podkolzin is, but that's not the style that Kapanen plays. Kapanen is a very speedy winger. You can utilize him on the rush, feed him the puck in the neutral zone, let him attack with speed, and then, of course, try and set up a play from there. Kasperi Kapanen, I've liked his game so far. I'd like to see a little bit more, but I can't complain overall. I've liked his game. We'll see if he remains a fit on that second line or if Victor Arvidsson will eventually get bumped back up there and then Kapanen down the lineup. At the end of the day, though, if Kapanen is bumped down the lineup, this is a good problem to have. It just shows that the Oilers' forward depth right now, a lot of players have been playing really good, and it's hard to justify taking anyone out. If anyone does come out, it will likely come from the bottom six. You have Matthias Janmark with Adam Henrique and Jeff Skinner. Now, if Adam Henrique was not a centerman, I would make an argument to try and take him out of the lineup. However, he does play center. He does play on the penalty kill, and it's tough to take a player like that out of the lineup just because of the role that they play. Victor Arvidsson is not a centerman, and he does penalty kill. However, you can't replace, like, it's not a 1-for-1 replacement if you took Henrique out of the lineup here. Janmark's been playing great. I've liked his game overall for the most part. 5-on-5 needs to be a little bit better, though. I like his penalty kill, special teams. But for Matthias Janmark, he had a really rough game against the Florida Panthers. That whole bottom six was absolutely caved. We need this bottom six to turn things around. And if Victor Arvidsson does get into the lineup, I actually would expect him to play on either the fourth or even the third line. He adds some juice, he adds some energy, he adds some speed, and I think that bottom six is like craving that right now. I think they really need something like that just to give them a little bit of extra juice, because the bottom six, when they're out on the ice, they just look old, they look slow, and other than guys like Connor Brown and Matthias Janmark, not a lot of people are driving the bus when the bottom six is on the ice. So Victor Arvidsson has an opportunity, if he does get in the lineup, get into that bottom six, inject some energy for them, and see if they can push the play forward instead of being stuck in their own zone. Jeff Skinner, of course, is looking for a much better effort tonight than he did against the Florida Panthers. When Skinner was on the ice against Florida, the Edmonton Oilers were outshot 9-0, and Jeff Skinner was not even on the ice for a shot attempt towards Sergei Bobrovsky. When he was on the ice, the shot attempts, I believe, were, I can't remember what it was. It was 16 or 17-0 in favor of Florida. Literally, Jeff Skinner had a 0% expected goals for percentage, a 0% Corsi for percentage. I've never seen anything like it. You could make the argument after a game like that, maybe you pull him out, but Jeff Skinner had been playing pretty good in the couple games leading into that Florida game, so I'm willing to give Jeff Skinner a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here before you pull him. On the fourth line, you'll have Corey Perry with Derek Ryan and Connor Brown. Corey Perry and Connor Brown are scoring machines lately, especially Connor Brown. Connor Brown has a goal in 3 straight games. He has 5 points in those 3 games, and he mostly plays with Perry and Ryan on the fourth line. He's only getting about 10 to 12 minutes a night of ice time. Connor Brown is making the most of his ice time. There are a lot of players that we want to play with McDavid and we want to play with Draisaitl. A lot of the fan base really wants Jeff Skinner to get some of that ice time with those two players. But when you are on the ice, no matter what line you're on, you have to make your ice time count. What are you doing out there that will justify being given a bit of a promotion in the lineup? For Jeff Skinner, of course, I haven't seen enough from him to warrant that bump up to either Draisaitl or McDavid's wing. Not enough to justify bumping Podkolzin or Nugent Hopkins or Zach Hyman or Kasperi Kapanen down the lineup. Connor Brown, though, when he's out there, he is producing. He's doing something. He is always moving his feet. He's tenacious. The penalty kill has been phenomenal. Connor Brown is one of those worker bees that I have grown to absolutely love on this team, and he's someone that I think a lot of the team can look at for inspiration in terms of work ethic. And I'm not saying a player like Jeff Skinner is lazy, but what I am saying is Jeff Skinner is given more opportunity than Connor Brown. Jeff Skinner had some opportunity with McDavid and Draisaitl earlier in the year. Very earlier in the year, and the team was getting absolutely shelled and blown out in those early games, especially against Winnipeg and Chicago, those first 2 games of the season that we all want to forget about. So this is a tough situation. You have Victor Arvidsson there as well. Who the heck would you take out of the lineup? The easy answer is probably Derek Ryan, just because of his age, his speed, not really able to keep up with the game anymore. But again, Derek Ryan is a centerman. Victor Arvidsson is not. Who the heck do you play center on the fourth line if you take Derek Ryan out? This is a tough situation. If it were up to me, I would likely take Jeff Skinner out of this lineup personally. You can make the argument Corey Perry would make the most sense to take out, especially if we're talking about getting someone into the lineup to inject more speed in that bottom 6. But Corey Perry has also been producing this season. Corey Perry has had a very solid year for his age and for the role that he's given. He does not get a lot of ice time, but it seems like every time he is out there, positive things are happening. So it's going to be a really interesting situation if Arvidsson plays tonight. The coaching staff has a lot of big decisions to make, and I want all of you to let me know who you think Arvidsson should replace in this lineup. Who do you think should be the healthy scratch? This is a tough one because for the most part, the Oilers have played so well as of late. They are 12-4-1 in their last 17 games. They've been really good. they've been phenomenal. So we'll see what happens tonight between these, or in this lineup. On defense, you'll have Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Stetcher, Kulak with Emberson. In goal, you'll have Skinner likely starting, and then Calvin Pickard. The Oilers play a back-to-back this weekend. They play San Jose on Saturday and Ottawa on Sunday. So Skinner and Pickard will split those two starts, but I do expect Stuart Skinner to get the start tonight. They need him to be much better tonight than he was against Florida. But for the most part, I think Skinner's game has completely turned around this season. I'm not too worried about him. If the Edmonton Oilers come out and they play against Boston like they did against Florida with the defensive miscues, mishandling the puck, shots into bodies, not covering guys in the slot, poor decision-making in the defensive zone, and I'm looking at you, Bouchard. I'm looking at you, Emberson and Stetcher. Nobody had a great game, honestly. Nobody had a really good game against the Florida Panthers. If this team is for real, they will adjust, and they'll have made the adjustments. They had 2 days off. There's absolutely no excuse right now to come into tonight's game and lose this one against the Bruins. Of course, I say that. That's a jinx just for saying that, probably. The Edmonton Oilers should be able to take this one if they remain structured, disciplined, and play their style of hockey. Now let's take a look at the pregame stats and all the numbers and all the good stuff that you love to see. The Boston Bruins this season, they are 17-13-3. They are 7-3 in their last 10 games. Under Joe Sacco, the team has been playing better. However, they're not really great at anything. They're not great at defense. They don't score a lot of goals. They're not great at puck possession. So we'll see how they end up playing tonight. Their expected goals for ranks 11th in the NHL at 51.85%. They're not getting completely caved at 5-on-5. Not like last year. It seemed like last year the team was winning games because of goaltending. This year, the goaltending hasn't been there to bail them out as much. Boston's power play is really bad as well. 12.9%, which ranks 31st. Their penalty kill ranks 21st, 77.5%. They only score 2.61 goals per game, which ranks 27th. They give up 3.15 goals per game, which ranks 22nd. Their Corsi for ranks 17th at 49.56%. And their shots for ranks 19th at 49.12%. The Boston Bruins this season, they're being led by David Pastrnak and Brad Marchand. Their special teams have really struggled. They don't have the same type of penalty kill unit that they did last year. They lost players like Jake DeBrusk, which hurts their power play and their penalty kill. He was able to play on both units. The goaltending, Jeremy Swayman, he held out for more money. He got his money, and he has really struggled for the Bruins. Chalk that up to pressure. Chalk it up to the team in front of him not being as good. Chalk it up to the coaching changes. Who knows what's going on there? But the Edmonton Oilers have a big opportunity here to win this one. The Bruins, however, they have won 2 straight games, and for the most part, they have been playing better hockey. They are very tough to deal with when they're on the forecheck and they're cycling, just like the Florida Panthers. So we'll end up seeing how the Bruins and Oilers match up tonight. For the Edmonton Oilers, they are 18-11-2 on the season. They are 8-2 in their last 10 games. Expected goals for continues to dip just a little bit. They're now at 53.79%, which ranks 5th. Power play continues to climb ever so slightly. It is now 11th at 22.8%. Their penalty kill also slowly climbing up, 73.3%, which ranks 26th. They score 3.29 goals per game, which ranks 8th. They give up 2.90 goals per game, which ranks 12th. Their Corsi for 53.93%, which ranks 3rd in the NHL, and their shots for is 55.12%, which ranks 2nd. The only thing that the Boston Bruins, at least on paper and looking at the numbers, the only thing that they have in superior value is their penalty kill, but even then, the Bruins' penalty kill isn't that good. No disrespect, of course. The Edmonton Oilers should win this one. I'm going 5-2 Edmonton Oilers, and my players to watch, I picked 2 absolute elite wingers on each team, or 1 elite winger on each team. Brad Marchand for the Boston Bruins, Connor Brown for the Edmonton Oilers. Connor Brown has been an absolute monster lately, and of course, Brad Marchand is always Brad Marchand. He is a phenomenal hockey player. He has 13 goals on the Bruins this season, which actually is ahead of David Pastrnak, which is surprising. The Boston Bruins, a lot of their issues, if they had a better power play and if they had a little bit better goaltending, this team would be considered one of the best in the Eastern Conference. As it stands right now, though, their power play is abysmal. Their goaltending has been inconsistent, and they're looking for something. Yes, they beat the Calgary Flames. Big comeback, 4-3 in overtime the other night, and they absolutely throttled the Vancouver Canucks 5-1. So Edmonton, It's not an easy matchup, and it will not be an easy matchup. Just because I predict the Oilers to win 5-2 does not believe that I think this is an easy matchup or that I am trying to slight the Bruins in any way. It's going to be a fun game. I cannot wait for it. I cannot wait for the live stream tonight. It's going to be so much fun, Oil Country. We'll see you there. Make sure you tell someone that you love them. If you enjoyed this video, like I said, make sure to smash the like button. Make sure to smash subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. And of course, always fight like a kid. Always fight like Ben. Let's go Oilers. We'll see you tonight, Oil Country, on the YouTube live stream. Take care.